Yo, what is going on, guys? And welcome back to 365 Analytics. And yet again, it's Wednesday night. It is week 16, and you know what time it is. It is time for week 16 NFL game picks. And it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy how fast the season went by. We only have three more of these episodes left, only two more after this one. And it's pretty heartbreaking to say that, man. It's just pretty sad. But we have a pretty interesting slate this week. We have a few Saturday NFL games this week. We got Sunday Night Football, obviously Monday Night Football, a pretty good Sunday slate, and we got a pivotal Thursday Night Football matchup for everybody, and more so for me. And I'll explain that more in a second. But yeah, if you guys enjoy, please like, subscribe. That'll be greatly appreciated. But before we start, this past week I was 14-2, two really good weeks in a row. I had a whole debacle because I switched from Carolina to Dallas, and I got that one right. And then I switched from before Monday night started. I switched from Atlanta to Las Vegas, and that one ended up wrong. I thought Desmond Ritter. It kind of seemed crazy to me that Vegas was catching 6.5 points in Las Vegas. Desmond Ritter revenge game. Monday Night Football. Falcons haven't looked very good, so I switched there. But I went 14-2, and that brings my record to 144-80, with me being 10-5 on locks and 5-10 on the upsets. But let's get right into it. Thursday night football, the second to last TNF game of the season. It is the Denver Broncos at Los Angeles Chargers. The Broncos, they escaped past the Indianapolis Colts this past Sunday in a Nick Bonito pick six. Jonathan Taylor dropped the ball before the goal line. It was a Colts. It was a good old fashioned Colts. I mean, dismantle, to say the least. But the Chargers, they got kicked by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this past Sunday, but they're returning home on a short week, and I think they have the upper edge in this one. They did beat the Denver Broncos earlier in the year in Mile High, and I think they're gonna do it again. Call me biased, obviously. Everyone knows the Bengals situation right now. I'm a Bengals fan. We need the Chargers to win this game. Our playoff path consists of one Colts loss in the final 3 weeks, one Dolphins loss in the final 3 weeks, the Bengals winning out, and either the Broncos or the Chargers losing out. The Broncos have a much tougher schedule down the road, including the Bengals playing them. So that is the easier route. The Chargers play New England and Las Vegas the final 2 weeks. So Cincinnati can't technically be fully eliminated on Thursday Night Football, but with the Chargers win, it gets very close. But I'll be watching this one very closely. Obviously, a very big game for our playoff hopes. So go Chargers. I think Herbert gets it done at home. We'll talk more about the Bengals playoff hopes after. It's four pivotal games this week that could impact their playoff hopes. And if they all go the right way, then we could be looking at a very important week 17 game versus the Denver Broncos on next Saturday. So yeah. And then we go to the Saturday double header, in the first game being an interesting one. It is the Houston Texans versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Before we say this, I just want to say this is the greatest time of the year. Truly, I love the holidays when it comes to sports, man. I mean, like, there's nothing better than sitting around with your family on days that everyone has off, like next Wednesday. Obviously, we have these games, but obviously this Saturday we have C.J. Stroud and Patrick Mahomes going at it on a Saturday, and then we have Steelers Ravens, the best rivalry in the entire NFL over the 2010s. Like, you get to see these greats go at it in the greatest time of the year. It's truly amazing. But the Texans and the Chiefs. The Texans, their offense needs to kick it into new gear, but the defense did play very well against the Miami Dolphins this past Sunday. Danielle Hunter is doing his thing, probably one of the best edges in the entire league this season. He hasn't skipped a beat since he signed with the Texans. Will Anderson's doing his thing. Derek Stingley had a legacy game on Sunday, picked off Tua twice, I believe. That defense is playing well. Offense still needs to kick into new gear. Joe Mixon slowed down the past few weeks. CJ Stroud is still in the sophomore slump. But they're going to Arrowhead Stadium at 1 p.m. on a Saturday, where people were saying it could be Carson Wentz. Mahomes was injured in the Browns game last Sunday, but it's looking like it's going to be Patrick Mahomes here. He will be banged up, but he's giving it a go. They're trying to clinch that one seed early. They are not giving Buffalo any chances to try to catch him. But I'm starting off the Saturday doubleheader with a bang. Give me the Houston Texans. I think they get it done here. I think the offense plays well. I think the banged up Mahomes will show. Mahomes hasn't been the greatest this season anyway. I think Mahomes being banged up and them not resting in this game will be a big factor. And I think the one seed race gets that much closer and that much more interesting. So yeah, give me the Texans. There's truly nothing like Ravens Steelers. It is the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens. Good old fashioned Tomlin versus Harbaugh. What more could you want? This game will most likely end 19-16. I doubt these teams go in the 20s. It's always a grinded out game, always physical, always smash mouth, always fun. I mean, you just love a football game like this. A few weeks ago, the Pittsburgh Steelers defeated the Baltimore Ravens, and the stakes in this one are even higher. The Pittsburgh Steelers win this game. They are AFC North champions. Russell Wilson wins the AFC North in his first year as a Pittsburgh Steelers starter. The Baltimore Ravens take care of this game at home in the bank. Both teams' records are tied. Both teams they split the season series, and the AFC North gets that much more interesting with two teams playing a lot of important ball down the stretch. The Ravens, let's call a spade a spade. The Ravens have had a Steelers problem since Lamar Jackson's got there. They've had a problem beating this team. This team has always given fits. I picked the Ravens in the first matchup, and I was wrong. I'm picking the Steelers in this matchup. I think they win the AFC North. I think they get it done, and I think they complete the AFC North. Tomlin, watching Hard Knocks, Mike Tomlin is just a different breed. He is clearly the best head coach in the division. A lot of Ravens fans hate Harbaugh, to be honest with you. They're just a better football team. The Ravens defense has a lot of holes this season. The loss of Mike McDonald has came pretty big. So yeah, give me the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then we go to the Sunday games. We're starting off with the New York Giants and the Atlanta Falcons. The main storyline in this game, Kirk Cousins has went to the bench. Kirk Cousins signed a 4-year deal with the Atlanta Falcons this offseason, and he has not been very good these past 5 games. He's been absolutely horrendous. They just squeaked past the Las Vegas Raiders on Monday Night Football this past Monday, so they are on a short week. They are back home. It's very rare you see a quarterback benched off a win, but we did in this situation. Michael Penix having his first start in the throwbacks at home. The Giants are probably the worst team I've ever seen at a professional level right now. Drew Lock is starting this week, I believe. It's been a flip flop of the quarterbacks. The Falcons are going to win this game. They're contending for a playoff spot right now. Kind of crazy to say since they just benched their quarterback. But Michael Penix Jr. taking over now, and I think gets it done. This is the worst team in football. Clearly, they're going to get it done, and they're going to stay in the division race. And then we have a clash of NFC teams. It is the Arizona Cardinals and the Carolina Panthers. The Cardinals, they beat the New England Patriots last Sunday in a game where I don't really have any takeaways. They beat them, they did what they needed to do, and they beat a team they're much better than, and they're still in the NFC West race. The Carolina Panthers season is now over. Well, technically, I don't think they're eliminated because do they still have a path to the NFC South? They have 3 wins. Tampa has 8. No, they don't have a path. They don't have a path, so their season is over. I originally picked the Panthers last week, and I switched to the Dallas Cowboys just before the slate started, and that proved to be good. The better teams here is the Arizona Cardinals. I love Jonathan Gannon. I've probably said it a few episodes this season, but I love Jonathan Gannon. I'm a Jonathan Gannon believer, and he has his team playing some pretty good football, and I think they're going to get this one done and keep themselves in the race for the NFC West. It's pretty much a Seahawks, Rams, Niners. I mean, Seahawks, Rams, Cardinals race at this point in the year. Those 3 teams all have a chance to do it. Arizona getting swept by Seattle will make it very, very tough for them to get over that hump and win the division. But I think they're going to get this one done and go to 8-7. And then we have a rematch of Thanksgiving. It is the Detroit Lions and the Chicago Bears. The Lions, man oh man, they are banged up. They're coming off a loss for the first time since September. we haven't had a game picks episode where the Detroit Lions have been coming off a loss since week 3, which is crazy enough to say. But it's Lions Bears, good old fashioned rivalry. The Lions are banged up. David Montgomery was just lost for the year. Ali McNeil was just lost for the year. Levi Onwuzurike still banged up. Alex Anzalone still hurt. I mean, dude, Melifonwu still hurt. Carlton Davis is most likely just lost for the year. He could have an uphill battle to come back when they make the Super Bowl, but obviously Aiden Hutchinson was gone. He still has a chance. He is set. His mind is set on coming back if they make the Super Bowl, and I'm honestly rooting for it. I hope Aiden Hutchinson could make that comeback. That'd be a great story in itself. But they are injured to pieces. The Bears. They have not won a game, and it feels like ages. Thomas Brown is 0-2 as head coach now. They got shellacked by the Vikings on Monday night. The better football team here to complete a season sweep. The better football team needs that 1 seed. Dan Campbell is absolutely nails, and the Lions are going to win this football game. And they're going to stay in the 1 seed, but Minnesota is on them. Minnesota and Philly, that's a three-way race for the 1 seed right now. Minnesota has shocked me in more ways than one, but we'll get to that when we get to their game. But it's crazy. And then this is a pretty boring one to everybody else besides Bengals fans and I'd say Dolphins fans. We have the Tennessee Titans and Indianapolis Colts. The Titans, they're coming off a loss to the Bengals this past Sunday. Sloppy, sloppy game. 10 turnovers, I believe it was, combined between both teams. Will Levis has hit the bench now, and Brian Callahan has opted to go with Mason Rudolph. Mason Rudolph will be starting in this game. And the Colts are also coming off a pretty sloppy game. Anthony Richardson didn't play his best, and the Broncos, they started off very slow, and then they came from behind. Jonathan Taylor obviously making that mental mistake, dropping the ball before the goal line. The big Nick Bonito pick six. A.D. Mitchell threw it right to him. He goes to the house. This game's in Lucas Oil Stadium, so I think that's a big edge for the Indianapolis here. I'm gonna be rooting hard for Titans, man. I'm still holding out hope. I know I've said the season's over probably 20 different times on this channel over the past 3 months, but I want the Titans to win really bad. But I'm not. I can't pick against Shane Steichen at home. I can't. The Colts are the better football team here. They're just better. They're just better. The Titans have a lot of holes. A lot of Titans fans are already calling for Callahan's job. Hopefully Mason Rudolph gives them a spark and they win this game. I'll be really rooting for him, but I think Indianapolis wins this game. And that will be a big hit to the Bengals' hopes because it's the Giants next week for the Colts, which the Colts are winning that game. The Giants are probably easily the worst team in the league. And then it's the Jags. So we might be looking at a Week 18 miracle if we want any hope. But we'll get there first. We'll talk about that as it goes on. But give me the Colts. I mean, this might be when I switch during the week because I don't know. I'll be rooting for the Titans hard, but I'm pick the Colts. And then it is the Los Angeles Rams and the New York Jets. The Rams, they're 8-6, top of the NFC West right now. They just beat the Rams. I mean, they beat the Niners on Thursday, this past Thursday Night Football, so they're on a little mini bye now. They're getting some rest, and they are pushing for the division title. The Jets, what else should I say about the Jets? Aaron Rodgers is in the news again today, saying that he will take some time away to figure out his decision this offseason if he wants to keep playing football or not, unless the Jets cut him. The Rams have something to play for here. The Jets don't. The Rams are going to win this game. I don't really have much else to say. Give me the Rams. And then this one's pivotal. This one is pivotal. This one is pivotal to say the least. It is the rematch of a few weeks ago's Thursday Night Football game. It is the Philadelphia Eagles going to Washington, D.C. to take on the Commanders. The Eagles, they won again. They beat the Steelers in Lincoln Financial Field. The Steelers haven't won there since 1968, I believe it is. But they win again. They extend the win streak. They haven't lost since late September, early October, I believe. Week 5, 4. They haven't lost the Tampa game, right? I think the Tampa game is their last loss. But the Commanders have won a few in a row now. Obviously, it was a big clock debacle that at the end of that Saints game that not many people were talking about. Jake Haener was benched. Spencer Rattler took over and almost led the Saints to a comeback. But the Commanders pulled it off. They won. Not gonna lie, this one's pretty tough for me. Philly wins this, the NFC East is clinched, and they have won it. This one's tough because Jaden Daniels at home here. I think he could get this done. I would like to see these teams split the season series, but I like Philadelphia in this game a lot. I think Saquon Barkley is going to be a big, big mismatch for their defense. The receivers they have, obviously AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts were in the news all of last week, and AJ Brown scored a touchdown. So I'm going to take the Eagles. I think this is their time. I think they're going to lock up the NFC East this week, and I think they're going to get the season sweep of the Washington Commanders. And who knows? Who knows? Maybe we see this matchup wildcard weekend. This is a potential wildcard weekend 2 versus 7 matchup that we could see, and that would be interesting. But who knows? Maybe we see this matchup again in Philadelphia. And then it is the final 1 o'clock game. Stripe the Jungle, the Battle of Ohio. It is matchup number 2 between the Cleveland Browns and the Cincinnati Bengals. Let's start for the Browns. The Browns, they're the Browns. They're 3-11. Dorian Thompson Robinson, DTR, is starting at quarterback this week. Jameis Winston hits the bench. And I'm not going to lie, I couldn't be happier. I love the matchup. I think Jameis Winston would throw 300 yards and 3 touchdowns on our defense. Not going to lie, I love DTR starting. But I really do think it's the right move by the Browns. Kevin Stefanski, obviously your season's a lost cause at this point. Why play the veteran James Winston when you can try to see what you have with DTR? Obviously a 6th round pick a few years ago from UCLA, but they're going to Cincinnati. It's Stripe the Jungle week. This game was originally supposed to be tomorrow night on Thursday Night Football, but it's flexed, rightfully so. Denver LAC get in that matchup. But yeah, this game will be at 1 p.m. on CBS. I'm taking the Bengals. I think they get 3 in a row. And if all these things go the way I say they're gonna go, if Denver loses and mainly Denver losing and the Bengals win, if those two things happen, next Saturday at 4:30, that sets up for a good matchup in Paycor Stadium. Bo Nix versus Joe Burrow, Peyton versus Taylor. That'd be fun to watch. But I'm taking the Bengals again. Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase going to get it done. They come off a sloppy game where they didn't get things done. I think they're going to go in here and they're going to kick the Browns. They're literally going to kill them. And they're going to get a season sweep of the Browns for the first time in Joe Burrow's career. Yes. So those are the 1 p.m. games. Next up, it is a shame that this one got put in the Fox single header. It's a Fox single header week, so this one was put in the single header game. But this one's a doozy. This is a good one. It is the Minnesota Vikings and the Seattle Seahawks. The Vikings are hot. Sam Darnold's playing good football, and he's looked like he's going to earn himself a good contract next offseason. He's looking like the Baker Mayfields of the world that have revived their career in a new offense. Him and Kevin O'Connell look like a match made in heaven. It is a shame they drafted J.J. McCarthy because if they didn't draft J.J., this dude Darnold might have been their quarterback of the future the way he's playing. Him and Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, they got some dogs. Obviously, Flores has the defense flying around. They got some dogs, man. They got some dogs. And this is with losing one of the best tackles in the National Football League for the season. That's crazy to say, but yeah. And they're going to Lumen Field, who are coming off a pretty bad loss in Sunday Night Football, where Geno Smith went out of the game. Sam Howell took over and looked like a JV quarterback. He was absolutely terrible. But all signs point to Geno Smith. I almost said Geno Stone twice. All signs point to Geno Smith playing in this game. I think the team playing, because both these teams are playing for a lot. Don't get it twisted. But the team playing for the 1 seed right now and a potential division title is the Minnesota Vikings, and that's who I'm going to take in Seattle. I think they're the better football team. I like what Seattle's doing, but they're honestly the team I thought they were at the beginning of the year. They're going to be an average team. They're going to get 8, 9 wins, somewhere around that um that territory. But I think Minnesota's going to get this done, and they're going to stay right on Detroit's tail. I'll tell you what, that Minnesota Detroit game in Ford Field, Week 18. It could be Sunday Night Football if both these teams win out and it's game for the division. That would be interesting, interesting, interesting. That'd be a lot of fun. But yeah, that could be the Sunday Night Football Week 18 game, but we'll get there when we get there. And then we have an AFC East matchup that was flexed to this spot. Shockingly, this is the first Patriots Buffalo game of the year. They play this week and then they play it in the season finale. The first Patriots Bills game of the season. And this is, I think, our last first division game of the year because that's not even possible for it to be in week 17. So, yeah, we have a Patriots Bills game, round one, in week 16. First, I'll say this. Every single year, it seems to be like a Patriots Bills game that's a close game. It's an absolute sweat for the Buffalo Bills when it really shouldn't be. Last year, Mac Jones threw a touchdown to Mike Gesicki, and the New England Patriots upset them. That game might have been in Foxborough. I think it was in Foxborough. It could have been in Buffalo. I don't even know. I don't remember exactly. But this game could be close. Don't get it twisted. I could see either of these teams. I could see the Patriots sneaking up. But with the Kansas City's loss on Saturday, Buffalo's going to be more hungry. Josh Allen's your MVP frontrunner right now. Obviously, that shouldn't be a debate now. I mean, the way he played in the past two games, the Rams and Lions, he's your MVP frontrunner. Buffalo's playing for a lot more. And Buffalo, they're going to be even more hungry when they see the Chiefs loss on Saturday. They're going to get it done. They're going to get the one seed. And then we have possibly the worst matchup of the season. This is an absolute tank bowl. It is the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Las Vegas Raiders. The Jaguars, obviously, they still have what are they? 3-11? 3-11, I think they are. Yeah, I think they're 3-11. The Raiders, they're even worse. Desmond Ritter started last Sunday, and they were terrible. Sincere McCormick's out for the season now. Max Crosby's out for the year, obviously. I mean, these guys are injured, injured, injured. It's just bad. Aiden O'Connell could be back for this game. I don't really care. I think Jacksonville wins it. I'm gonna pick Jacksonville. Who knows? This might be one I switch during the week. But I think the Raiders and Giants are the clear two worst teams in the league right now, and I'm gonna take the Jags here. I think Mac Jones has enough time to win. So yeah. And then we have a big, big matchup for me, but a matchup that was really supposed to be very good when you look at the season schedule all the way back in September. It is the San Francisco 49ers going down to South Beach in December and taking on the Miami Dolphins. Two teams that are 6-8, two teams that have a sliver, sliver, sliver of playoff hopes. So neither team's technically eliminated in this game. Nance and Romo, CBS's A team, will be on the call for this, which is pretty interesting. But both teams are 6-8. Both teams need a win, and both teams still have an outside shot at the playoffs. But so it could be interesting. It really, I mean, let's see, it's not really that interesting because the way Tua played last week and the way Tua plays against big opponents. But the Niners, they're coming off a bad, bad loss on Thursday. I picked them to beat the Rams, and they pretty much disappointed me. The offense was lackluster all night, and the Rams got the season sweep. Brock Purdy was not very good. George Kittle looked like the only one that actually came to play. Debo Samuel was doing all that talking and showed up and maybe caught one pass. The Dolphins, they're coming off a Texans loss this past Sunday where Tua was absolutely abysmal. It's Shanahan versus McDaniel, so I guess that's the most interesting storyline here. I'm gonna take the Niners. Neither of these teams really have much to play for right now. It's just a little bit of a swing game for my picks, and hopefully I get a. I'll be rooting for the Niners heavily because the Bengals still need a Dolphins loss to get in the playoffs. So yeah, I'll be rooting for the Niners. I'm gonna pick them here, but yeah, I don't know if there's like a leak in this water bottle. And then we go to Sunday night football. It is the Buccaneers and Cowboys. We've had some classic matchups between these two in the past few years. They played on a Sunday night football game week one a few years ago, played on an opening night game a few years ago when Brady was there. They played in the playoff wild card game in Brady's last game. Yeah, I mean, This game could have been a flex candidate, but you're never going to flex the Dallas Cowboys off Sunday Night Football. The league has showed you that in the past, and it's not going to change. Um, the better team here, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The team with more to play for here is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Mike Evans is still chasing that 1,000-yard season. I think he could still get it. So I think Mike Evans is probably going to go nuclear like he did last week. Baker Mayfield's a dog. They saw the Falcons won. Tampa Bay still has to stay one game above the Falcons strictly because the Falcons swept them this year, which is crazy enough to say the way Kirk Cousins has been playing the past few weeks. But I'm going to take the Buccaneers. I think they stay one game ahead of Atlanta. Obviously, the division's not salted because of the tiebreaker, but give me the Buccaneers, better team. They're going to get it done. Dallas, though. CeeDee Lamb, very impressive performance. Cooper Rush played probably his best game of the year against the Panthers. Pretty impressive performance from them, but I'm taking the Bucks. And then we have a very, very mid Monday Night Football game. One that probably should have got flexed, but this game's at Lambeau Field on a Monday night in December, so people will be all over that. It is the New Orleans Saints and the Green Bay Packers. The Saints, Spencer Rattler took over. They almost came from behind against Washington this past weekend, but they lost 2019. 2-point conversion was unsuccessful. I will credit Darren Rizzi and Kubiak. I will credit them for going for two. I like the aggressiveness when your season's already salted. I guess technically, can they win? I think they can. Can they win the NFC South still? I don't know, because they have 5 wins. I don't know. I don't think they're going to win this game anyway. Going into Lambeau Field, Green Bay's fighting for something. They're still trying to stay in the playoffs. I don't think they've clinched yet. Maybe they've clinched. I don't think they've clinched yet. I'm taking the Packers here. Better football team. They're going to get it done. Jordan Love at home, Monday Night Football, prime time. Lambeau Field, it's cold. It's Packers home field advantage. Give me them. With my italic in the middle. With my lock of the week being Green Bay over New Orleans, and my upset being Houston or KC. So yeah, those are the game picks for this week. And we're gonna hop right into the power rankings in a second, but just to recap, it is the Chargers, Texans, Steelers, Falcons, Cardinals, Lions, Colts, Rams, Eagles, Bengals, Vikings, Bills, Jaguars, 49ers, Buccaneers, and Packers. So yeah, those are the game picks. Let's get right into the power rankings. And here are the week 16 power rankings. Kind of crazy when we have a few more of these. But the Chiefs retake the number one position with Mahomes being healthy still, and they got a win with the Lions losing. Then we go Bills, Lions, Eagles, Vikings, Steelers, Packers, Ravens, Broncos, Rams in the top 10. Rams get back into the top 10 after all this. Denver stays into the top 10. Vikings get back into the top 10 for probably the first time in weeks. I think they were number one pretty early in the season. Texans almost grappling back into that top 10. If the picks go the way I say they do, Texans are going to be back in the top 10. Commanders 12, Seahawks 13, Bucks, Chargers. Buccaneers just beat the Chargers, put them one spot above them. Arizona, Miami flip spots. Bengals go up one. Bengals and Colts flip spots. Falcons and Niners flip spots. We have a few flip spots there. Cowboys go up three with a statement win over Carolina. Saints go down one. Bears stay the same. And then we got the bottom of the barrel down here. Browns, Jets, Jags, Panthers, Titans, Patriots, and then the Raiders and Giants, in my opinion, clearly the worst two teams in the National Football League. But yeah, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please like, subscribe. This has been 365 Analytics. It was fun doing this video. Next week's game picks will be on Tuesday since we have Christmas games on Wednesday. Tuesday night, look out next Tuesday night. I don't know if there'll be any videos in the middle of that, but we have college football playoff games this weekend. We have a bunch of stuff Saturday. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. Have a good night.